Welcome back to Garden Talk, brought to you by the Penn State Erie County Extension Master Gardeners. I'm your co-host for today, Mike Bailey, and I think Ellen is with me. Ellen, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. And we're both at different sites again because of the corona, and we will probably stay this way for an extended period of time. This seems to be working out, okay, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You don't have to put
right.
up, you don't
right.
have to put up with me, do you? Okay, just on the phone.
I don't have to drive. I don't have to take a shower. I don't have to do anything.
Okay, so enough of that. Okay, that's too much detail.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, we talked about this a little bit, and I think it's time for us to talk about how and when we prune our flowering shrubs and trees.
Okay, very good. Okay, and you know, it might even be a little bit late, but let's just get it in. We've had a lot of other material that we've gone over so far this year. But what are some of the general rules about, trimming those shrubs in particular, Ellen?
Well, I think generally it's very important, first of all, that you understand the growth of your shrub or your tree. Look it up, like when does it blossom and how much does it grow during the growing period. And also then that would determine when you prune. So make sure you know the growth habit of that shrub.
Okay, fine. So, I think I know where you're going now. And the way I look at it, I try to remember I got a simple mind. Okay, so I got to kind of look at this.
I know.
Oh, thank you. Okay, the things that flower early in the year are really blossoming on
growth,
and the buds formed last fall, didn't they?
Correct.
Okay, so the things that bloom early in the year before when? See.
Before the end of June.
Okay, so
you want to look at the ones that are going to blossom before the end of June, primarily early season.
Okay, so those early season bloomers, those buds formed on last year's growth. Okay, and they formed last summer and last fall. So you don't want to you don't want to trim those shrubs early in the year, do you?
No,
because
you want to trim them after they flower.
After they flower, because if you trim them real early, you're going to cut off all the material that's
good. Blossoms.
You're going to cut off all the blossoms, which kind of defeats the purpose of one of the things that you wanted to achieve. You wanted this shrub to blossom and look good for you.
Right.
Now, so there must be another category also. There's plants that bloom later in the year, correct? After the first of July.
The ones that
go ahead.
Right after July 1st, early autumn. They bloom in the summer after July and the beginning of autumn. Then you want to prune them the winter before or early spring before that new growth starts on their stems and vines.
Okay, because the blossom buds for those particular plants that bloom later in the growing season, they formed on this year's growth, didn't they?
Correct.
So,
correct.
If you can kind of keep that in mind, okay, early season growth, early season blossoms, you trim after they bloom. Late season blooming, you can trim those early in the year, because it's all about all about when the buds form. So so that's a nice, I think simple and straightforward way to put it.
Right.
Okay. What else you got? You have some other material there, I bet, Ellen, too, because you always come prepared.
Well, I mean, first of all, like why do you want to prune?
Okay.
Why are you pruning it?
Okay, good. Okay, that's
to
a good
make
point.
It look good, keep it healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You don't want it to get straggly looking. If you're using it to enhance the beauty of your lawn, then you want to keep it nicely shaped. Make sure you keep the natural shape. You don't want to make it look all weird. But basically, you're removing the dead or diseased branches that might be on that plant. And that's why you'd want to go out there and prune. So take a look at it. And is it getting overgrown? Is it getting kind of scraggly? Are some of the branches rubbing against the other ones? Those are the things that you want to look at. And then make sure that you have good equipment to trim. Because sometimes we try to use dull scissors or something like that that are going to damage your branches or your stems on those plants. So make sure that you have proper equipment that's been well taken care of and kept clean and sanitized before you start trimming.
Very good points, okay? Especially about what do you really want to accomplish by trimming that shrub. Some people like, nice geometric figures, and some people like to, let things grow kind of a little bit wild. And you can imagine which category I probably fit into. Okay.
And me, probably the opposite of you.
And I do cut out the dead ones and the diseased ones if there are, because sometimes you get winter damage and stuff like that.
Right.
But I like my things to just kind of, in fact, I put them out, in a way, on their own, so that they can actually, grow, the way they want to, and so it's kind of good. Now, one of the things we didn't talk about yet is hydrangeas.
Right.
Hydrangeas can be a little bit tricky. And it used to be, there was only one kind of hydrangea, and it bloomed on growth that formed the previous year, etc. And if you cut it all down, you didn't get any blossoms this year. But now they have other varieties that will bloom on the current year. And sometimes it's difficult to determine, exactly, what variety that you might have. But a good rule of thumb is that, if no pruning is better than the wrong type of pruning. You can always leave your hydrangeas go, and then kind of see, are they going to bloom early in the year, and are they going to bloom on last year's growth, or are they going to bloom on this year's growth, and make a mental note or a hard copy note to yourself, because if it's a plant that blooms on last year's growth, you want to again trim after the blossoms. Okay, if it's something that blossoms on this year's growth, you can trim it earlier in the season. Okay, during the winter or early spring. Same principle, but you might not be able to tell by looking at your hydrangeas themselves. So, Ellen, look at the clock already. Okay, we've passed our time. So, I thank everybody for listening, and hope to have you with us next time. Thank you now.
Thank you.